Hey everybody, Alvaro here. Welcome to the Bilingual Stock Market channel again. In this channel, we talk about the stock market, but we do it in two different languages, English and Spanish. So if English is not your cup of tea, you can also watch just for the same video narrated by me in Spanish. So well guys, we had another crazy and volatile week in Wall Street once again. And what happened specifically this week that gave rise to the massive sell-off that we saw on Wednesday and Thursday? Well, Mr. Jerome Powell, which is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, he came out on Wednesday and he said the infamous word that starts with I. He pronounced the word inflation, all right? Right after he said inflation, the stock market started to sell off in a massive way. And why? Well, because the biggest fear of the stock market is inflation, okay? Inflation will pick up. And why? Well, because if we happen to see inflation, guys, the Federal Reserve could potentially increase the interest rate of the United States of America. But Mr. Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, he has highlighted over and over and over again that they are not even thinking about raising the interest rate of this country, okay? But on the flip side, since the 10-year Treasury bond has increased significantly and it actually closed above 1.5% yesterday, so the stock market and the markets are assuming that the Federal Reserve is mistaken. Therefore, the markets are assuming that inflation is going to get out of control this year, okay? Because we have had, so much money printing, all right, since last year, okay? So if inflation happens to get out of control, the Federal Reserve is certainly going to raise the interest rate. And the very last time that the Federal Reserve increased or raised rather the interest rate of the United States of America, the stock market saw a 20% correction, okay? The stock market almost entered into a bear market that was back in 2018, okay? So next week, you have to keep a close attention to what the 10-year Treasury bond does, okay? Because if it keeps on going up, we might keep on seeing more down pressure in the markets, okay? So that is going to be a critical aspect that you guys have to keep in mind and keep a close watch on, therefore, next week. So in this video, I want to first of all break down from a technical standpoint both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100, which are the most important indices that you guys have to keep a close watch on before taking any trades. And after that, I am going to be breaking down from a technical standpoint the 3 top stocks on my watch list for the second week of March of 2021. So without further ado, let's get started because we have a lot to talk about in this video, okay? Okay guys, so let's get started with the video. What you guys can see on your screens is the S&P 500 index, and on the 5-day, 5-minute chart of this index, we can see that it completely collapsed on Thursday and Friday of last week. But the bulls managed to hold on Thursday 37.23 and on Friday 37.30, okay? And after holding 37.30 on Friday, we saw a V-shaped recovery on the S&P 500. So next week, if the S&P 500 sells off again, we can expect some sort of support around this area, somewhere between 37.23 and 37.30, okay? And check this out, guys. On the 5-day, 5-minute chart, we can also see a reverse head and shoulders formation, okay? This is a bullish formation. So check this out. Here we have the left shoulder. Here we have the head. And here we might have the right shoulder, okay? So if next week we see the completion of this pattern, so if the right shoulder happens to solidify, we could see a solid move to the upside on the S&P 500, okay, in this direction. So, in my opinion, and since the bulls managed to close above 38.40 on last Friday, we might be out of the woods. But the bulls, in order to be completely out of the woods, they have to take on 3,900 next week. This is going to be critical, guys, for the bulls, okay? And why? Well, because 3,900 was a resistance 4 times last week. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, and 4 times. Okay, so this is going to be, as I said before, a critical resistance for the bulls next week. Another possible area of support next week, if the S&P 500 drops, is going to be 37.90, where you guys can see this red line, okay? And why? Well, because 37.90 acted as a support and also as a resistance last week. Okay, so if the S&P 500 drops, it is very likely to find a good support at around 37.90. Okay, and I am telling you guys again, before taking any trades, you need to be aware of the levels of support and resistance of the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. That is critical. Otherwise, you are driving a car, being blindfolded, and you are not in a Tesla. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at the Nasdaq 100. Okay, guys, and in the case of the Nasdaq 100, we have a critical resistance coming up at 12,779, 12,770 points, give or take, where you guys can see this red line, okay? So next week, guys, the bulls have to take on this resistance. This is going to be critical. Otherwise, we might see another drop in the markets. And check this out, guys, and let me pull up here the 4-hour chart. So from all-time high until Friday's low, the Nasdaq 100 had a 12% correction already, okay? So this might be or not, you know, the bottom. I mean, I am not calling out a bottom here, but we already had officially a 12% correction here, guys. So who knows? This might be the bottom. You never know, right? So let me pull up again here the 5-day, 5-minute chart. So if next week we drop furthermore, the next level or the next important level of support on NDX is going to be this red line that you guys can see over here at around 12,445 points, 12,441 points, okay? So if next week, guys, you see a drop in the Nasdaq 100, which would imply that the markets as a whole are going to be falling down because this is a market mover, all right? Remember that the Nasdaq 100 is comprised of the most important tech companies of the world. So if you guys see the NDX falling off a cliff next week, but holding 12,441 points, 12,450 points as a support, and in a consistent way, that might be a very acceptable spot to take any trades, okay? So watch out for the Nasdaq 100 next week, guys, either breaking above this very important level of resistance at around 12,775 points, or maybe holding, hopefully, 12,445 points as a lower support. Okay, guys, and the first stock of this video is going to be good old NIO. And listen, I don't like talking so much about one specific stock in my videos, and I have been talking about NIO in the latest videos that we have posted. And why? Well, because you guys are freaking out, and you guys have been reaching out to me, letting me know that you are having a very hard time because NIO has been selling off aggressively, right? But keep in mind, guys, there's nothing wrong with NIO. Nothing. NIO has been selling off aggressively because the market as a whole fell off a cliff. There's nothing wrong with NEO. And I posted a video last year breaking down my bullish case on NEO. And listen to these, guys. Okay, my price target 5 or 7 years out on NEO is $300. Okay, but however, my bullish case on NEO is based on the assumption that NEO is going to be the second EV player in China after Tesla. Okay, but in my bullish case, I never took into account NEO jumping into the European market or coming to the US to sell their vehicles. Okay, if that happens, if NEO at some point, later on down the road happens to go to Europe or happens to come here to the US to sell their vehicles, that is going to be a whole different story, guys. So when we see a stock like NEO with such an amazing potential at $38, $35, $32 per share, this is an opportunity. And I mean a long-term opportunity. So you guys have to stop freaking out. Okay, when NEO was selling off yesterday, it was amazing, guys. I was getting messages left and right. Is NEO going to hold $35? Is NEO going to hold $32? Can NEO go below 30 bucks per share? Who cares? Who cares, guys? Who cares if you are buying a stock that is going to be a $300 or maybe more than $300 per share a stock 5 or 10 years out? Who cares if the stock is selling off down to 35 bucks per share or 30 bucks per share? Who cares? So stop freaking out and focus on the long term, okay? But now let's go ahead and take a look at the short term of NEO, okay? For those that might be interested in taking a short term trade on NEO, okay? So on the 4-hour chart of NEO, we can see that obviously it held $31.75, okay, yesterday when we saw the massive sell-off on the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. And take a look at these, guys. $31.75, give or take, where you guys can see this red line. It was a former support on November 2nd of last year. And check this out. From NEO's all-time high, right, down to $31.58, $31.70, okay, which was the low of yesterday's trading session, NEO saw a 52% drop. So NEO basically crashed, okay? NEO had a crash, more than 50%, unbelievable, right? And despite of the fact that NEO had a relief rally yesterday, the RSI is still at 37 points. So we can make the case that NEO is still in oversold territory. And if we pull up the 1-day, 1-minute chart, take a look at this, guys. NEO had a $7 rally yesterday. Unbelievable. This would have been such an amazing trade, okay? If you purchased shares of NEO at around $32 and you sold them at $38, wow, that would have been a 17% profit trade, okay? A quick trade, by the way, right? Wow. Okay, so next week, take a look at this, guys. NEO failed yesterday at $39.50, give or take, okay? So $39 is an upcoming big resistance for NEO, definitely, right? And where you guys can see this red line, so next week, let's see if NEO happens to hold $38, okay, as a support. If so, if NEO happens to hold $38 as a support, we could see a nice rally up to $40 or $41 per share, okay? And obviously, if the market happens to drop massively as a whole, then let's see if NEO can find support again at around $31. No, at around $32, $32.20, give or take, okay? So calm down about NEO, guys, and if you can take a short-term trade next week, $38, give or take, it would be a nice spot, assuming that NEO can make a good move to the upside, depending on, once again, what the markets do as a whole, okay? Okay, guys, and the second stock of this video is going to be Bionano Genomics, ticker symbol BNGO, the company that focuses on the genome analysis space. And in the case of BNGO, guys, we can see on the 4-hour chart that yesterday, when we had the massive sell-off in the morning in the markets, this stock got, guys, 60 to almost 64% of its highs. Unbelievable. And as of now, it is, taking into account the closing price of yesterday's trading session, we still find BNGO almost 50% of its highs. So despite we saw yesterday a relief rally, okay, in this stock, we still have a very attractive discount to open any positions on BNGO, okay? I actually own, let me show you here, my main trading and investment portfolio. As of now, I own 200 shares of BNGO at an average price of $7.49, and I have here a tiny and small unrealized gain of $30.24. So my plan when it comes to BNGO would be locking in the profit if it happens to pull up to $9.50 per share or $10 per share, because take a look, guys, we have a very strong resistance coming up right at the 50 SMA line at around $9.62 per share or $10 per share, give or take, okay? The RSI is at 41 points, so BNGO is neither oversold nor overbought. So if next week we have another bloodbath in the markets, I think that the lowest that BNGO could go would be, again, yeah, $5.64 per share, $5.80 per share. And take a look at this, guys. I'm going to zoom in here and check this out. BNGO yesterday held, okay, $5.67 per share, which was the base of this breakout candle to the upside that you guys can see over here. So this goes to show, guys, that when it comes to technicals, there are no coincidences, okay? BNGO held precisely the base of a former breakout candle to the upside, okay? So it found support at a spot that was meant to provide some sort of support for this stock, okay? So in my case, as I said before, guys, $10 per share would be my spot to lock in the profit on this stock. And if any of you is bullish in this company, this is a very attractive spot to pick up shares to build up a long-term position, because as I said before, this stock is 50%, is still 50% of its highs, okay? So next week, guys, I think that $7.43 per share or maybe $8 per share are still very attractive prices to either start a long-term position in BNGO or even to take a short-term trade, because if BNGO happens to pull up consistently next week, we might see this stock going up to $9.60 per share or maybe $10 per share, okay? Which, as I said before, is going to be a very strong resistance because it is the 50 SMA line on the 4-hour chart. So in this case, guys, Bionano Genomics is still another stock that got destroyed, okay, in the last trading sessions in Wall Street, and that we still find at a very attractive price. Okay, guys, and the third and last stock of this video is going to be DraftKings, ticker symbol DKNG. And in the case of DKNG, guys, or DraftKings, we got very good news. And why? Well, because DraftKings announced this week a deal with the UFC to become the UFC's official sports book. That is going to be huge, guys, massive. And why? Well, because the UFC is a phenomenal company. These guys are offering very attractive fights pretty much every single weekend. And I was thinking to myself, like, I like boxing a lot. And when I was a kid, it usually took something like 3 or 4 months, to see a good boxing match. But in the case of the UFC, these guys have taken the business of organizing professional fights to a new level, where we can see very attractive fights pretty much every single weekend, which means more and more people gambling online over time, which means that DraftKings is probably going to start showing very good financial results anytime soon. So in my opinion, and please remember guys that I am not a financial advisor, so if any of you wants to either trade or invest in DraftKings at a long term, you have to do your own research work and reach your own conclusions. But in my case, guys, and according to my opinion, I think that DraftKings, from a long-term perspective, it's a no-brainer, guys. This company is going to be a massive company when it comes to online betting. And for those who might be interested in taking a short-term trade in DraftKings, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. And here we can see that DraftKings obviously fell off a cliff on last Friday because of the massive sell-off of the markets in the morning. But take a look at this, guys. If we zoom in on the 4-hour chart, we can see that DraftKings ended up the day holding the 180 SMA line by the end of the trading session, okay, at around $58.88 per share, okay, which from a technical standpoint is a very encouraging sign, okay? And take a look at this, guys. This 180 SMA coincides with previous areas of support, as you guys can see over here on this red line, okay? So $59 per share might be a good price to start any position in DraftKings, okay? The RSI of DraftKings, guys, is at 42 points, okay, quite healthy. And as of now, guys, DraftKings is something like 20% of its highs, okay? So we have a very attractive discount in DraftKings as of now, okay? So if the market happens, guys, to sell off again in a massive way, DraftKings could hold $54 per share, give or take again, okay? Because $54 per share was a strong former resistance turned now into a new support. Okay, so watch out for DraftKings, guys. If the market recovers next week, we could see it moving up from $59 per share or $60 per share up to this red line, which will act definitely as overhead resistance at around $62.87 or $63 per share. So DraftKings definitely, guys, on the top of my watch list for next week. Okay, guys, and before finishing this video, listen to this. Let me show you this, okay? What you guys can see on your screens is my main trading and investment portfolio, okay? I have another portfolio, but as of now, I am going to show you guys this portfolio. So check this out. The total value of this portfolio on February 8th was $153,000. And the current value of this portfolio is $105,000. So the total value of this portfolio fell or decreased in less than a month $48,000. And I never thought about selling out of any of my long-term investments, such as NIO and Tesla. I understand the way that the markets work. This is just short-term volatility. we won't remember about this 6 months out or 1 year out. So my advice, and obviously remember that I am not a financial advisor, but my advice for you guys is avoiding taking unnecessary losses. Unless you need the money, okay, to pay bills or something like that, you don't need to take any losses. If you know, obviously, that you are investing your money in good companies, it doesn't make any sense, all right? This is nothing but a buying opportunity. Yesterday, when the world was falling apart, I was ready, guys, ready to invest $12,000 more in Tesla if Tesla hit $515 per share, okay? It didn't hit $515 per share, but when most people were freaking out because Tesla and NIO were falling off a cliff and stuff like that, I was recognizing a great long-term opportunity. So don't freak out, stay focused, control your mind, and buy the dip, okay? Okay, guys, now I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for your attention. By the way, from next Monday and on, I am going to be posting stock market updates, okay, from Mondays through Thursdays, okay? We are going to be breaking down the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and I am going to be telling you guys what are the top stocks on my watch list for the next trading session. So if you guys want to get those notifications in a timely manner once I had posted those videos, you'd better be subscribed to the channel. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do it right away. And obviously, if you found value in this video, please hit the like button for me as well, okay? Follow us on Instagram, okay? We're posting information and news on our Instagram account on a daily basis as well. And remember, this is the Bilingual Stock Market channel, the YouTube channel in which we talk about the stock market, but we do it in 2 different languages, English and Spanish. But most importantly, the YouTube channel in which we know that the wonderful world of Wall Street, it's not for geniuses, it is for entrepreneurs just like you guys and myself. My name is Alvaro, and I will see you on Monday because we are starting our stock market updates on next Monday. So keep on crushing the markets, stay focused, don't freak out, buy the dip, and peace out.